Of course, when you're different in a world of uniformity, then you either laugh or condemn. So I got lots of that shit. Year on year on year. But for 25 years next year it is, I've kept going on this journey. I've been to nearly 60 countries, researching and communicating this stuff. And it's an interesting fact that if you keep walking, and you don't stop to defend yourself and say, how dare you say that about me? If you keep walking anyway, you actually get somewhere. And now we're doing events at Wembley Arena. And what I'm going to talk about today, for anyone who's new to it, all the best. Because this is not just a little massage of normal reality. This is a total demolition of it. Because we, as human beings, are living an illusion on the scale that defies the imagination. And the fact that we're living an illusion means that we are living in a world little more than a concentration camp for the mind, where we live our lives and we think we're making our own decisions, we think we're making our own choices, and they're being made for us without us even having any idea that that's what's happening. Why? Because we, in our awakened state, beyond the illusion, have infinite power, infinite awareness, infinite possibility. When we open our hearts and our minds to our true self, we can paint a different world to the one that ignorance and illusion has constructed. When we get to the deepest level of self, I am love, you are love, we are all one infinite awareness, having an experience called our name, income bracket, background, colour, race, whatever. So, if I am love, you are love, and we are all infinite consciousness, the next question is this: what the bloody hell happened? How did we get into a state of being little more than a computer program? Just processing information and reaching conclusions that the program insists upon. How do we get into this state? I'll tell you, and as we go through the day, it is an extraordinary, extraordinary story about how the world became what it is now. How do we get into a world where supermarkets have to put 3 hands up to show you what 15 items mean? How do we get into that? We're infinite consciousness. How do we get political leaders who say wind is a finite resource and harnessing it would slow the winds down, which would cause the temperature to go up? Well, vote for him. How do we get presidents and prime ministers like him? I would challenge you to a battle of wits, but I see you're alone. He was the leader of the free world. Well, he wasn't, but in theory he was. If ignorance is bliss, there must be shitloads of people in paradise. That's all I can say. And it's ignorance that got us here. And it is awareness that will get us out of it. Mark Twain, never argue with stupid people. They'll drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Anyone been there? Yes. Someone said to me, wonderful advice years ago, never have an argument with an idiot. Why? Because you can't win an argument with an idiot. Because the idiot never knows when they've lost. We've been there all as well. You have the right to remain stupid. Everything you do not know can and will be used against you, most likely for a profit. We're in a system that is not there to enlighten us. It is there to make us stupid, to make us ignorant, for ignorance can be manipulated with one hand while having a cup of tea with the other. Awareness, a nightmare, impossibility to manipulate. You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality, and that's what we're experiencing now. That's what we've been experiencing throughout known human history. A nation of sheep will soon have the government of wolves, and that is what we have had, century after century after century. The tail is not wagging the dog in this world, it's wagging the elephant. And we allow it through ignorance and a desperation not to take responsibility for our own lives, never mind the world in general. Einstein said the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but those who watch them doing it without doing anything. In fact, it's both, but we forget about the last one. Watching them doing it. How can they do that? What do you do about it? Well, I don't know, it's a good show tonight. So how do we go from this, the true self, timeless, spaceless, infinite awareness, without form, to this? How do we make this journey? Well, stupid equals asleep. You can't be stupid if you are in touch with your true self. It don't do stupid. Asleep equals hypnotized. And that's what we are, hypnotized from cradle to bloody grave with a program of perception. And being hypnotized means we are unconscious. And although we are infinite awareness, our awareness of reality is therefore trapped in the tiniest band of sense of possibility. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Once you program the reality of the subconscious, the conscious mind becomes that reality. This absolutely is right. The most violent element in society is ignorance. The most destructive, the most catastrophic. But, although they're working on it, in the age of information, ignorance is choice. And so many people don't want to make that choice because with the end of ignorance comes the start of responsibility. And, of course, the system is there to stop us being anything but ignorant. And so we have this state school decoding. It seems complex, but all it means is that we are here to program your perceptions throughout your formative years so the state controls your mind for the rest of your life. Thank you. That's education. It's not about making people aware. It is about turning them into a program for the rest of their lives, and a big round of applause for young people who go through that and still have some kind of awareness for themselves when they come out the other end. That's a freaking challenge. So, we live in a free society. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, go to work, get married, have children, act normal, walk on the pavement, watch TV, obey the law, save for your old age, then repeat after me, I am free. That is not life. That is a program which people play out like a disk in a computer. George Carlin, great man. So you hate your job. Why do you say so? There's a small group for that. It's called everybody. They meet down the bar. How many people get up in the morning on what to do, what that day is going to bring, because it brought it yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before, the day before? Because we're in program. We think it's free. And that's, you know, in America, when they tell you it's the land of the free so often, they shouldn't have to tell anybody it's the land of the free. It should be bloody obvious. They tell you because it's not. Slavery was never abolished. It was only extended to include everyone. I sat in a restaurant in America once. I sat there twice. And I picked up a bread roll and I put it on the egg. Because I just wanted to observe the reaction. Some people laughed, some people were very uncomfortable. And then the waiter came over and he didn't want to mention it. I was sitting there with a bread roll again. And he came down and said, "Is everything all right, sir?" I said, "Well, I'll have another glass of wine." That's the great line. He said, "Don't you think you've had enough, sir?" So we then had this conversation about why he felt I had to be pissed to put a bread roll on my head. And then I said, "Did you feel free to do that? Or are you free?" He said, "I'm free. Of course I'm free. It's America." So then we went through his job and what he did every day. And he realised he wasn't free when he went to work. And he said, "Well, I'm free when I leave work." And then we went through that and he realised he wasn't free at all. I mean, slavery. How many people are in a state of slavery? I mean, what's the difference? What's the freaking difference for a lot of people? Slavery. It works better when you don't tell them, we're free, honey. They piss on us and we say it's raining. We stare the obvious in the face and then find an excuse for why it's not the obvious. Because when we see it's the obvious, we take responsibility for facing the obvious. Leonardo da Vinci, like an incredible man 500 years ago, something like that. There are three classes of people. Those who choose to see, those who see when they are shown, those who do not see. The vast majority of people do not see. More and more people are beginning to see. Hallelujah. But the system is there, working 24/7 to make sure most humans do not see. And this is what I call, the name of my last book, the perception deception. If there's a few of you, and we'll get into it as the day goes on, it's a few. If there's a few of you and you want to control all the rest, you can't do it physically. You can do it with tanks in the streets and soldiers at the door here and there. You can't do it everywhere. To control the masses, you have to control their perception. Because from their perception of self and the world comes their behavior, comes their choices, what they support, work support, comes everything.